Okay, we're now looking at finding arc length. And I'm just going to give you the formula right now. You may have seen it in the definitions, but if we're finding arc length, we're going to divide that by the circumference. And remember that circumference is equal to 2 pi r, or it's equal to pi d. So depending on what's given to you, you'll either write c here, or 2 pi r, or pi d. And that's going to be equal to, I'm going to write central angle here. They usually say the arc, but they give you the angle. Remember that the central angle and the intercepted arc will always be equal to each other. So it's the central angle divided by 360. And if you look, it's just basically part of the circumference divided by the whole circumference equals part of 360 divided by 360. So in this case, they gave us the radius, and they gave us the central angle, which is also what this arc is. So if we're finding arc length, we're going to divide that by, in this case, 2 pi r. So it's going to be 2 times pi times 8. And that's going to equal the central angle, which is 360. And we're going to divide, central angle, which is 60. And we're going to divide that by 360. Now, what I usually do is I simplify this. These both divide. 60 goes into 366 times. So on this side we would get 1/6. Over here we would get arc length over 2 times 8 gives us 16 pi. So if I multiply both sides by 16 pi, we end up with the arc length equal to 16 pi over 6, which is also, if we divide both by 2, 8 pi over 3. And at this point we can calculate it. I think it's set to the nearest tenth, so I'll need to get out my handy dandy calculator. Give me 1 sec. Let's see, so we do 8 times pi divided by 3, and if we calculate that, we should get 8.4 for our answer. So it's 8.4 centimeters. Okay? And so again, they use a slightly different formula, but it works the same. And so 8.38 or 8.4 centimeters. Here's another one. Again, I'm going to use the same formula. Let's say arc length over 2 times pi times 11. And that's going to be equal to, again, 60 over 360. Simplifying this the way we did before, we get 1/6 again. So arc length over 22 pi is equal to 1 over 6. Multiplying both sides by 22 pi. The 22 pi's cancel here, giving us arc length. And we've got 22 pi over 6, which also becomes 11 pi over 3. Getting out our calculator, 11 times pi divided by 3. We get, I guess we'll do 2 decimal places, 11.52 centimeters. Okay. So again, they use basically the same formula, 11.52 centimeters. Now this problem is a little bit different. Here they want us to find the arc. So, I'm sorry, no, it's the same type of problem. So we've got still arc length over 2 times pi times 11. And this time The central angle is different. It's 120 degrees here. We're going to divide that by 360. Hopefully you know that 120 goes into 360 3 times, so that gives me 1 and 3 here. We get arc length over 22 pi, and that equals 1 over 3. We're going to multiply both sides by 22 pi, so that the 22 pi's cancel. So we have arc length equals, it's just going to be 22 pi over 3, and that's where we get our calculator. And if we do that to the nearest hundredth, we get 23.04 centimeters. So we get an idea of how this works. We'll do a couple more problems. 23.04. This one's different because they want us to find the circumference. So arc length is given to us. Arc length is 4.19 inches. The circumference is what we don't know, and that's why I wanted you to do it this way. So circumference on the bottom. We do have the central angle, which is 40, and we're going to divide that by 360. I would suggest still simplifying this. 9 times 40 gives me 360, so that gives us 1 over 9. And we're going to cross multiply. We'll get C equals 4.19 times 9. And if we do that, we get 37.71 inches for the circumference. So this helps us to find the whole distance around the circle when we only know this part right here. So the distance from here to here is 4.19. So here we go. We have our arc length over C equals the measure of arc XY, which is also the central angle here, divided by 360. We have 4.19 over C equals 40 over 360. They simplified as well, and if we cross multiply, we get C equals 37.71. Here's another one where we have to find, this time, the arc length. Let's see. So we've got this arc. It looks like they've given us the circumference. Let me see for this problem. Oh, okay. So we're trying to find, in this case, arc RS. Alright, so let's back it up. Sorry, I misunderstood. Did they give us? Okay. So we want to find, we know this radius, we know this arc length, but we don't know the arc measure. So again, the arc length is given to us in this case, which is 44. We're going to divide that by the circumference, which is 2 times pi times the radius, which is 15.28. We don't know what the measure of the arc is, which is the same as this central angle here, and that's divided by 360. So cross multiplying, I would say don't simplify this, just cross multiply. So we're going to do 44 times 360. That gives us 15,840 here. And over on the other side, 15.28 times 2 gives us 30.56 pi times the measure of arc RS. We're going to divide both sides by 30.56 pi. So that those cancel and give us the measure of arc RS. And then we just get our calculator out and we start punching it in. Again, I would suggest putting this in parentheses, and remember it's times here. So we would have 15,840 divided by 30.56 times pi. And if we do that, our answer should be 164.99, so about 165. And that's degrees this time. So again, we plug in 44 here, we plug in the radius here, we cross multiply, and we get our answer about 165. It's 164.99. Alright, here's another problem. This time it looks like they gave us the diameter, so we're going to use pi d. We want to find the arc length, so basically we can just write PQ like this. We know that this is going to be not 2 pi r, but pi times 9. The central angle, or the arc PQ, is 75. We're going to divide that by 360. That one's a little bit harder to simplify. Let's see. We know we can divide both by 5. Actually, let's divide by 3 and we'd get 25 there. Divide this by 3, we'd get 120. Now I'm going to divide by 5 and I'll get 5 there. Divide this by 5, we get 24. So 5 over 24. Okay? And that equals PQ with no m over 9 pi. So I'm going to cross multiply. I'll get 24 times PQ equals 45 pi. I'm going to divide both sides by 24. And I think that is simplifiable, but at this point we probably don't need to. I think if we divided this by 3, we get 15, and this by 3, we'd get 8. So we end up with 15 pi over 8. If we do 15 times pi divided by 8, we should get 5.89 as our answer. Okay? And that's 5.89 yards, and that refers to this arc right here, the length of it. Not the measure, but the length, so the distance from here to here. 5.89. Okay, here's another one where we have to find circumference. They gave us the arc length, which is 61.26. Circumference is what we want. Remember, this is 2 pi r or pi d. And it's 270 out of 360. Dividing these two, we end up with 3 and 4. Cross multiplying, we get 3c is equal to whatever 61.26 times 4 is. That gives us 245.04. Dividing both sides by 3, c is equal to 81.68. So the circumference is 81.68 meters. So that would be the distance all the way around. Okay? And here's one more. This time we want to find the radius, where we're given the arc length. So the arc length is 10.5. Circumference we don't know, but we know that this is 2 pi r. Over here, we know this is 150 out of 360. Let's see, 15 out of 36, those are both divisible by 3. So we get 5 here and 12 here. Cross multiplying. What are we missing? Okay, cross multiplying, we get 10.5 times 12. 10.5 times 12, which is 126. And on the other side, we get 10 pi r. If we do 2 times 5 is 10, so we get 10 pi r. We're going to divide both sides by 10 pi. And I'm just going to go ahead and leave that as is because we can just get our calculator. Remember to put 10 pi in parentheses and multiply here. So we'd get 126 divided by 10 times pi. And in that case, our answer should be 4.01, or about 4. Good. And we're done. Thank you.